You are in the rant stream where I rant about whatever my $10 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Gary Hackett, who says, rant about doctors. You ranted about going to college in a PCP episode a long while back and said something like, people who want to be doctors aren't human. Do you think doctors have their own place on the autism spectrum? Assuming you could reduce the student debt in some way, do you think pursuing a medical career is a worthwhile endeavor? So the thing is that I do think it's possible to just, like, want to be a doctor because you think it's cool and to be super determined to do it and be able to pull through and be, like, a normal person. But I think that, like, most people who become doctors are people who, like, have it ingrained in them from childhood that they will be a doctor. Like, that is the only worthwhile method of pursuit. They're often children of doctors or people who have also had important roles in society. You know, like, they tend to go to better schools from the beginning to prep them to be able to, you know, handle the intensive amount of classwork that comes from doing a doctorate. Are you showing me this weird goth fucking trash baby shit on this game?
No.
Oh.
You sure got a mouth
sure
on
got a
you.
mouth on him, huh? Anyway.
That's what I was showing you.
Fucking... You know, I think that, like, a lot of doctors, they grow up in a situation where, like, they have not even considered anything else. And you can kind of see that, like, even both Ben and Nate have talked about how when they were growing up, they kind of had that mentality. Their parents are in, like, the medical field. They're college educated. Neither of them ever even thought for a second about not going to college. You know, they both went and got degrees. Ben was a scientist. Nate was doing programming for a while. Neither one of them is doing anything like that anymore, you know? So, like, it's really funny to think that they were basically, like, living in those shoes. I don't know what went wrong for them. I don't know why they fell off that track. What was different between them and the people who do become doctors, you know? But, it's just fascinating to me that, like...
blacker dicks.
I guess
That's
so.
what the difference is.
But, like, you know, when I meet people who are doctors, they seem like a different species because they just seem so much more, like, mature. Like, they're more they just seem like more grounded people in some cases, although some of the doctors I've met are extremely eccentric and fucking weird and definitely do give me the impression that they're, like, you know, the autism doctors. But, like, whether they're autistic or not is irrelevant. It's just that, like, the mindset you need to have to become a doctor, I think, is such a, like, eyes on the prize, goal-oriented, single-minded kind of, like, devotion to what you are doing with your life that it's a very different type of person, you know? Most of us come and go. Most of us don't spend, you know, 8 to 10 years just in the learning process of doing something and then just be committed to that forever, you know, for no reason other than that you know that it's a very stable job that makes a lot of fucking money, where your talents you'll always be able to get work because, you know, you have a skill that is always in demand. So, like, you know, from a purely, like, preservation of the self standpoint, I understand why, like, everybody thinks, like, oh, doctor, ultimate achievement. But it's like, that's only if that's what you think life is about, is, like, you know, like, the best preservation of you and your family, which is fair.
A lot of people's parents, they, you know, instill those values on them from a very early age, and they grow up, like, thinking that this is the ultimate decider of their worth. Be all.
There is nothing
they
else
have to
in
do
the
this.
world.
Like, everything would be for naught if they didn't do this. Or just some people, like, you know, really idolize doctors and want to help people, or, like, had lost somebody in their life to cancer or something, and, like, they feel motivated in that way. But yeah, I mean, they have completely different values than most people. It's a hard job.
Anyway, this guy says, I mean, it's not just doctors. In brown households, you're either a doctor, lawyer, engineer, or a failure. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what I was getting at. You know, like, if you have, like, the tiger mom going on or whatever, it's like you know, you are pretty much going to be looked at as a failure by your parents if you don't achieve one of those things. High-level jobs. Do you think that job listings that ask for a college degree are just arbitrary walls to getting employed? I mean, it depends on the job. There are plenty of jobs that, like, are ordinarily, require you to have a degree, but that you can get hired in by being just that good. That obviously exists in plenty of fields. It's how much should matter the most, and I'm certainly no fan of bureaucracy. So I would prefer if your skills were acknowledged first and foremost. Before it was even considered whether or not you had a piece of paper that says you can do the thing. All right, that's enough about that, I guess. Yeah, Pause and Select said for Asian families, it's doctor, engineer, or get beaten. Yeah, it's about how I have heard it.